What's going on, everybody? Spaceballs here. Welcome back to another Skylanders video. Alright, everyone, you have spoken. You guys want these build guides, and I am going to give them to you. So today we're going to do Sharpshooter, because he was asked for quite a few times in the last video. Now, if you guys want to pick who's next, just comment down below and let me know what build guide you want to see next. Eventually, we're going to do all of them, so don't worry if you don't see your Skylander right away. Eventually, I will get to it, I promise. We're going to do these twice a week. So let's get into this one right here, and this one's going to be on my man Sharpshooter. And the reason I really like Sharpshooter, and I'm happy a couple people asked for Sharpshooter, because I was actually going to do Tide Pool, and I am going to do Tide Pool soon. But a lot of you guys have seen my build already on Tide Pool, so Sharpshooter is good because he's not talked about a lot. And I think he's a little underrated. Same thing with Airstrike to an extent. Airstrike, people know how good he is, but Sharpshooter, I feel like people don't really understand how good he is. He is probably one of the best or top heroics in the game at this point. As you can see, I'm building him now. If I had him max super boosted, I'd probably have him fully skilled and fully leveled up as far as his runes go. But I've been building him for the past week or so. And I think, honestly, after I get Super Shot built, I'm going to move straight to Sharpshooter. It's just super hard when you want to build so many Skylanders. You guys know how it is. It's just so limited on super boosts and keys. So again, all you could do is build them slowly, and then in the future, you'll get them up and running. So now with Sharpshooter, in my eyes, he's attack-based, he's Earth. I want him doing as much damage as possible. So if we look at his kit here, we got the A1, which is Knockdown, Diminish, Evasion, Right Down. We got Explosion. So now he can actually be a backup in a bomb team. And he can be used in any general DPS team. That's what makes Sharpshooter so good, is that you don't really need to kind of synergize a team around him. He kind of just fits where you want him to fit. And then we have the passive, which is if your HP is below 40%, increase your attack by 25%. And your defense penetration by 10%. That is actually huge. You guys know how hard it is to get defense penetration substats on your runes. I believe it only goes on your ring and your boots. Other than that, I don't think you can get the substat of defense penetration. So you'd be lucky to get like 10 or 15% altogether. So now if you get that 10 to 15% plus this 10%, that's 25%. That is actually a lot of extra damage being added to your man Sharpshooter. So for me, that is a fantastic passive. So then we have the leader passive, which is always granted on himself, which is accuracy up by 15%. And that's whenever an enemy evades your attack. Additionally, increases your effect actually by 35% in battle. He's giving all Earth Skylanders 20% of accuracy in battle. Then he's also giving you the accuracy buff as well. So that is Sharpshooter's kit. So looking at that, we want to build him as a DPS. So when we build DPSs, we are looking for attack, crit rate, and crit damage. But when I build my DPSs in this game, I always look to get at least 1500 defense and about 20,000 HP. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get those exact numbers, but you want to be as close to that threshold as possible. If you guys look at my Road Brawler, you know, any DPS I have built at the moment, I am so close to those thresholds, if not over them. So let's take Road Brawler for example. So you see here, we have 2,000 defense and 15,000 HP. Not exactly what I want, but right there, and we have the extra defense kind of making up for the HP. I mean, you don't want to go too much on the defense, because I believe after 2,000, you're getting diminishing returns if you don't have over 20,000 HP. But again, I'm running defense boots on my Road Brawler, so it's just the kind of way it worked out. But this, to me, works fine, and she is not squishy at all. I mean, same thing with Stink Bomb here. We have 17,000 HP, 1,700 defense. This is actually a better example. This is kind of what you're shooting for on all of your DPSs, at least in my opinion. I don't like to build my DPSs fully glass cannon, because in doing so, you take the risk of getting them one shot in the first or second turn, whether it's PvP or PvE content. Now with PvE content, you can kind of control it a little bit because you know how much damage they're dishing out. But in PvP, if you're going up against a Tide Pool or a Super Shot, they will definitely one-shot your glass cannon. So it is good to set those stats for yourself as far as HP and defense goes. Now, taking into consideration, after that, I want as much crit damage, crit rate, and attack as possible. Basically 80 to 85% crit rate. Now, in a perfect world, we would have 100%, but it is really hard to get. So being that I really want 100% crit rate, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to run a crit rate and a crit damage, because Sharpshooter does have double rings. Now, in a perfect world, I would run double crit damage rings and then get the, 95, 100% crit rate and substats. As of right now, that's not possible. So I try to be realistic when I'm building my Skylanders. So for now, what I did was I went crit damage here with defense penetration, boost rate, attack, and accuracy. We do want effect accuracy on Sharpshooter because he does have good debuffs. And then for the other ring, I actually went with crit rates, and this is 6 stars, but this does have crit damage, accuracy, and defense penetration. It has perfect substats on it. Hopefully this will roll 3 times into crit damage. Hopefully we'll get an attack roll on the last roll, and then this will be actually perfect. And by putting this ring on him, I don't have to worry about getting crit rate as much in the substats, so I can really beef up that crit damage and that attack as far as substats go. Because just running a flat main stat of crit rate is going to make it so much easier for you to get that crit rate you need. You're not going to have to go crazy trying to get it in the substats, which really is not easy to do. You guys probably know that already. So honestly, on your sharpshooter, you'd probably be better off going this way, running 1 crit damage, 1 crit rate. And then when you're doing your substats, you don't have to worry about crit rate like this one here. We have crit damage, accuracy, resistance, defense. Now, this is not a good rune. I don't have a lot of attack weapons as far as 6-star goes. I will probably change this in the future. What I'm actually looking for is HP. So this is actually what I'm looking for here. So we're going to take this off of him, and we are going to put this on. Now, this is a perfect rune for sharpshooter. Accuracy, crit rate, crit damage, HP. Again, we don't need as much crit rate, so we're hoping that this rolls like a bunch of crit damage, HP, or accuracy, because we really don't need that much crit rate because of the ring. But again, if we get enough crit rate substats, we can actually change that ring back to crit damage. So either way, we're winning here. It doesn't really matter. But you do want to be realistic when you're runing up your Skylanders. You have to look at both sides of the fence. Most of the time, you're not going to get the substats you're looking for. So just keep that in mind. Then we have the helmet here. And again, we have crit rate, crit damage, accuracy, defense. In a perfect world here, this defense would be attack, because we do want to get a lot of attack rolls as well, especially if we're going with crit rate and crit damage. We want to match the attack as much as we can. So honestly, this rune is basically perfect, but I would like to have one with attack on it. Now, the way I have him runed right now with that ring, this rune would actually be better in my opinion, because it has attack, accuracy, and crit damage. Because we don't really need the defense, so to say. We'd rather have the attack. Depending on how these roll, and again, depending on, you know, the amount of crit rate I get, will actually decide which one I use. For now, I'm going to leave the first one. I think I'm going to end up changing it to the second one. If I can roll like triple attack here, or triple crit damage, I will definitely put this body on instead of this one. For now, we're going to leave it alone. I'm going to roll this one up to 3 and see how it goes, and then I'll take it from there. Then we have the boots here. Again, we have accuracy, crit damage, and resistance. Now, as far as the boots go, it's so hard to get HP boots in this game, especially 6-stars, at least for me. So as far as the boots go, sometimes I just have to take what I can get. Now, depending on the 4th roll here, if it's not crit rate, defense penetration, evasion, or something like that, I probably will end up changing these in the future. But like you can see here, we really just don't have a big selection of boots unless I want to use 5-star boots. Then I can kind of weed through them. Like, these boots here are actually perfect. I should honestly stop being stubborn and get rid of these 6-star boots and use these 5-star legendary boots, which is actually what I'm going to do. Because in all honesty, no matter how these boots roll, it's going to be better than these boots here. These 5-star legendaries, yes, we're going to be losing, you know, that 200 HP main stat. But in all actuality, we're getting the substats we want. And this attack is actually really good. Same thing with the crit rate and accuracy. So we're actually going to take these off. And I could find use out of these on somebody else. Trust me on that. HP boots are few and far between. So now we're going to throw these on him. And these current runes that you're seeing me go through are runes that I just threw on him to do the campaign. So just keep that in mind. I only put these runes on him just so he didn't have no runes when I was farming him up. You guys should do the same. Then when you're actually upgrading his runes, you can go through them and pick and choose the ones you want. That is the way I like to do it. Makes it the easiest. And now we have the crit damage one here like you saw before. We have attack, defense, penetration, actually boost rate. Absolutely perfect. Doesn't get any better than this unless it was 6-stars. But again, 6-star crit damage runes, just like HP boots and attack gloves, they are so hard to get and they drop so rarely that sometimes you just have to take what you can get. That is the way it is. And then we also have the crit rate ring, which I showed you before. Defense, penetration, crit damage, accuracy. Basically perfect. And again, depending on what happens with the substats will depend on what happens with this rune. It rolls really good. We can go with another crit damage rune if we have one. I think I have one on airstrike. I can end up switching if I don't build airstrike before a sharpshooter, but we'll have to see what happens. And then last up, we have the gloves. And again, attack gloves are so hard to get, especially 6-stars. So we have accuracy, HP, resistance. These are really not good at all. I don't want to keep these on him. I'm definitely going to look to change them as soon as possible. I don't even really want to upgrade them. So again, I might have to go with 5-star gloves, just like I did with the boots. Now, these ones aren't bad. We have accuracy, crit rates, and these are 6-star as well. I must have just got these, so we can actually switch to these. I think these are better. Then if the last roll is crit damage, these will actually be better than the current ones we have on him. And again, if I pull better runes along the way when I'm farming C6, I will also make changes as I go as well. But the general overall build you're looking for your sharpshooter is, 90 to 100% crit rates, as much crit damage as possible. Again, you want to stay in that, 1500 defense, 20,000 HP area, as close to it as you can get. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. Do the best you can. And then you want as much attack as possible, like 3,500 plus. That is the number you're looking for. It is hard to do. But again, when you're using 6-star gear, it'll come kind of natural over time. But those are the main stats that you're looking for in your sharpshooter. I don't think effect accuracy is as important as the DPS stats, in my opinion. Like, if I get a substat of effect accuracy in there, great. If not, no big deal, because I'm looking for my sharpshooter to do big damage. I'm not really so much worried about the debuffs. They are nice to have, but I'm not going to go out of my way to put a ton of effect accuracy on my sharpshooter. I want this man to dish out as much damage as possible. And then, after we get all those DPS stats and all the other stats we're looking for, we can go back and hopefully we'll have a few accuracy substats here and there. And again, when you have 4 substats on a rune, it is really easy to get an accuracy substat somewhere in there. Just hopefully it doesn't roll too much into it. The trick is to have attack, crit rate, crit damage, and then effect accuracy. Something along those lines. Like this way, if it does roll effect accuracy, it's not a bad thing. And you still have 3 of the main stats that you want. So that is how you build my man sharpshooter. Again, if you guys have any other questions, just comment down below. I always read them. Let me know who you want to see next in this build series. I love doing them. They're so much fun. We are so close to 2.5k subs. Once we reach it, we will start the sub celebration giveaway. We are right there. So it should be any day now. I will be picking the winner for the random giveaway sometime this week. If you want to be a part of that, all you have to do is sub to the channel, like, and comment on the videos. And that will automatically enter you into the random giveaway. If you want to follow me on Twitch and Discord, that is linked down below. We do 2 monthly giveaways on Discord, random giveaways on Twitch. I truly do love each and every single one of you. I will see you in the next one. Spaceballs out. Peace.